But this problem, like many of life's other age-old problems, can be solved with a hammer and bulletproof sheets of titanium. What's up YouTube, it's Barrett, back at it again with another video. If you've been in crypto for a while and you're hodling for the long term like me, you're going to want to get a hardware wallet so that you can at least self-custody some percentage of your coins. Luckily, this has never been easier thanks to companies like Ledger that have an entire suite of different products that you can purchase to self-custody your coins. They recently came out with this Ledger Nano S Plus, and when you combine the S Plus with their current offerings for hardware devices, this entire lineup of products gets very confusing. So if you guys watch to the end of the video, I'm going to be answering the question, what the is the difference between these three devices? And I'll be giving you guys a recommendation for which device is best for your personal use case. Hopefully this buyer's guide will be helpful for you before you go out and purchase a new Ledger Nano S Plus or any of the other offerings that are on Ledger's website. So go down below and smash the like button for Bitcoin security and let's level up your brain. Quick disclaimer before we jump into the video here. You should only be buying these devices directly from Ledger's website or from an authorized reseller like Casa or Unchained Capital. Absolutely do not go to Amazon or eBay and purchase one of these devices used. Any discount you might be getting is not worth the risk that the device has been tampered with. I'll have an affiliate link in the description that came directly from Ledger, but if you are sus of any links, just go to ledger.com and purchase your device from there. Also, if you guys want to learn more about why you would want a hardware wallet in the first place, I'll leave a link up in the cards to a video that I did a while ago that explains what is a hardware wallet and why might you want one. And if you guys want to learn anything else about hardware wallets that we don't cover in this video, go ahead down below and leave a comment and I'll work on a video to talk about whatever it is that you guys are interested in. So first, let's talk about the old Ledger Nano S versus the new Ledger Nano S Plus. And the first thing we're going to touch on here is the price of a new device. The old Ledger Nano S is $60 on Ledger's website and the new Ledger Nano S Plus is $80 on Ledger's website. And for me, when I purchased this new device just a couple days ago, there was a $20 shipping fee that I couldn't figure out how to avoid. So factor that $20 shipping fee if you're in the United States to whatever the cost of your device is. So that would bring it to really about $80 for the old Ledger Nano S and $100 for the new Ledger Nano S Plus. So overall, in my opinion, if you don't have at least $1,000 of crypto, you shouldn't be looking to purchase one of these devices because it doesn't really make sense to buy a $100 device to store $50 of crypto on it. At that point, you'd just be better off using a free mobile wallet. So what do you get for the extra $20 in this S Plus that you don't get in the old S device? The biggest thing you get in this new S Plus device is you're getting a lot more hard drive space on the physical device. Ledger says you can get about 6 apps on the old Ledger Nano S, but back when I was Bitcoining, I was really only able to get about 4 apps on this device. So if you're doing something like I was, where I was trying to dollar cost average the top 10 coins by market cap, those 10 coins are going to be more than the 6 coins, but really 4 coins that you're able to fit on this Ledger Nano S wallet, which previously had driven a lot of people to go buy the Ledger Nano X, which we'll get to in a minute. But over here on the new Ledger Nano S Plus, you're getting up to 100 crypto wallets, the same as the Ledger Nano X, on this one device, which is going to be way more than enough for most people. If you have more than 100 different cryptos, let me know down in the comments. I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. You're also getting a much bigger screen and just a better user experience with the S Plus version of the device versus the old S device. And something I personally care about a lot because I hate having a million different cords for things. The S Plus uses USB-C, whereas the old S model is still using micro USB. And I personally, in 2022, do not have time for micro USB anymore. If you're making a device with micro USB, I probably don't want it. So in my opinion, that micro USB, USB-C situation is reason enough to opt for the new version of the wallet. And overall, you're getting a lot more value, in my opinion, the ability to store up to 100 cryptocurrency tokens on a wallet versus up to 6, but really in practice, I was only able to get around 4 on there. So for just $20, the new S Plus is a really big upgrade over this old S model. Next, let's compare the new S Plus model to the Ledger Nano X, the flagship model hardware wallet that's sold by Ledger. Let's again start with price. So like we said earlier, the S Plus model is going to run you about $100 after shipping, whereas the Ledger Nano X actually retails for $150, and that would get you to around $170 after shipping. So the X is almost twice the price of the S Plus, and let's see what we get from a feature perspective for that massive difference in price. The biggest difference is that this Ledger Nano S Plus doesn't have Bluetooth. The whole point of Bluetooth on this Ledger Nano X device is that then you don't have to plug it into your computer to sign transactions, and if you're an iOS user, it also gives you the ability to sync your Ledger Live app with your iPhone. And because the Ledger Nano X is using Bluetooth, it also has an 8-hour battery life, which is helpful if you want to sign transactions on the go without bringing a USB-C cord with you. But personally, whenever I'm traveling, I do have a USB-C cord because pretty much all my devices now use USB-C. And so as far as functionality is concerned, you can do the exact same things with both devices. It's just that with the S Plus, you have to have a USB-C cable, but with the Ledger Nano X, you can utilize Bluetooth. The only other difference in these devices is you can probably see the Ledger Nano X is a little bit chunkier than the Ledger Nano S Plus, and it's also a bit taller. But the screen sizes of these devices are exactly the same. The number of coins that you can keep on device is exactly the same. And so overall, this is going to come down to whether or not you care that much about Bluetooth and whether or not you want to use Ledger Live on your iOS device. As far as I know, there is no difference from an Android perspective. You can just plug in this Ledger Nano S Plus into an Android phone and Ledger Live will work the same way. The Bluetooth is really only there to help you sign transactions without a USB-C cable and so that you can use Ledger Live on iOS. So if that's not worth the extra $70 to you, which I think it's probably not going to be worth it for most people, the Ledger Nano S Plus is going to be your best option. Next, let's talk about the Ledger Nano S's strong point of being able to manage NFTs really effectively. Even though the Ledger Nano S Plus is advertised as being really great for managing NFTs, any Ledger device is capable of managing NFTs, even the really old Ledger Nano S. It's just going to be a lot harder on that smaller Ledger Nano S to manage a bunch of different NFTs from a bunch of different chains because, like I said earlier, you don't have a lot of wallet space on the Ledger hardware wallet to have, let's say, an ETH wallet and a Polygon wallet and a Solana wallet and a Cardano wallet and a Polkadot wallet to manage NFTs from all of these different chains. So if you do have a lot of chains like that, you're going to be better off using this new Ledger Nano S Plus. And like we talked about earlier, there aren't really very many reasons to buy a Ledger Nano S in the first place because this Plus model is so much better. So if you are interested in storing NFTs from a bunch of different chains, your decision is really between this S Plus and the X. But like we just talked about, if you don't care about Bluetooth, you can basically throw the X away and just use the Ledger Nano S Plus. I personally don't own any NFTs, so I haven't managed them personally myself on a Ledger device, but if you do want to see what that process looks like, I'll leave a video link down in the description and up in the cards for you to check that out for yourself after this video. But first, let's talk about some issues that Ledger has and why you might want to consider an entirely different hardware wallet altogether. The biggest security issue with Ledgers is that Ledgers are not air-gapped, which means that Ledgers need either a USB connection or Bluetooth to connect to some external computer to sign a transaction, which means that there's some risk of connecting those two computers, this Ledger that's never been connected to the internet, and then obviously the computer you're connecting to sign with that has been connected to the internet. In my opinion, being fully air-gapped is a security nitpick because Ledger is storing your seed phrase and your private key in the secure element on the device. And so it's not like any important information would ever be passed into the computer that it was connected to the Ledger. If you are worried about having an air-gapped device, Ledgers are not going to be for you, but I think for most people, it's totally fine to have a device that is not air-gapped. I personally use 2 Ledgers and 1 Trezor in my multi-sig solution, and I feel very comfortable knowing that that solution is very secure for my personal needs. But if you want ultimate next level security, you're going to want a wallet that's air-gapped like a Coldcard. But then the caveat to that is that if you are interested in coins and NFTs, you can't store those things on a Coldcard. Coldcards are Bitcoin only. And so in that case, you're back to either a Ledger or a Trezor or some of the other devices that are out there on the market. Ledger is also infamously not open source compared to products like the Coldcard and Trezor, which is why Ledger has had to go to these third-party verifiers and say, hey, can you tell people that our code is good and that there's no crazy in it? So some other reviewers like to tout that Ledger has these certifications, but I think in the grand scheme of things, they have to have those certifications because we can't actually just go read the code and make sure that there's no crazy there. And that's not to say that there are no issues with Coldcard or Trezor. Coldcard is obviously a little bit more difficult to use and Bitcoin only. And Trezor is open source, but it has all sorts of other security issues that I'll leave a link to down in the description. So there's definitely trade-offs and different people will make different decisions. I personally view Ledger as more secure than Trezor's and less secure than Coldcards. But in my opinion, Ledger is probably the most easy to use out of any of those 3 different options. So in my opinion, Ledger probably the best option if you want to store anything that's not Bitcoin, including NFTs. But if you want the truly highest security of any Bitcoin hardware wallet, you're going to want to look to a Coldcard. And I'll have a review for the Coldcard Mark IV when that comes out, hopefully later this year. The final issue with Ledger is not really an issue with Ledger. It's just what they give you out of the box. They give you that flimsy little piece of paper to put your seed phrase on. And you probably don't want to store your $1 million Bored Ape NFT on a piece of paper in your sock drawer. But this problem, like many of life's other age-old problems, can be solved with a hammer and and bulletproof sheets of titanium. Basically, you would like to store your seed phrase in metal that you know isn't going to be destroyed in a fire, or you drip water on this and all of a sudden you can't read the ink anymore. That's not really going to be a problem with this. So if you're interested in a product like this, I'll leave a link in the description to Jameson Lopp's blog. He's a hardcore security-minded Bitcoiner, and he's tested out pretty much every metal seed plate product and set them all on fire and shot them all with guns and put them all in acid. Basically every single test that you would ever want to run on one of these things he has done before. So that's a really great article that you should check out. Again, leaving that down in the description. I obviously went with the Thor model of the crypto tag because the hammers. I'll have a link in the description to CryptoTag's website and to the Zeus model of the CryptoTag, which is a little bit less overkill than the Thor hammer. But let's be serious, guys. You want the hammer too. It's really cool. Overall, I think Ledger really put themselves in a box here by releasing a product as good as the Ledger Nano S Plus. The features of this device are so comparable to the Ledger Nano X, but the price difference is so massive in my opinion. Unless you really care to see your balance on iOS, I really don't think it makes sense to get a Ledger Nano X anymore, and I think you should go with the Ledger Nano S Plus. And then I think if you're interested in storing multiple different types of cryptocurrency, you're definitely better off using the S Plus versus the S, because the gap, up to 100 versus up to 6 is just so massive. Why would you not go with this option? I'm betting that in the next couple months here, Ledger is going to sort out their lineup by releasing a product that is above the Ledger Nano X, maybe the Ledger Nano X Plus, and maybe that holds like 1 million different coins and has a massive screen, and maybe it has NFC integrated or something like that. Because right now, in my opinion, their product lineup makes absolutely no sense. If you're in the market for a hardware device and you've chosen to shop with Ledger, you should absolutely get the Ledger Nano S Plus. It is very clearly the best value product that they offer. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, go down below and smash the like button so that YouTube shares it with other people who are looking to unconfuse themselves with Ledger's current product offerings. Comment down below if you guys are interested in seeing me set up this Ledger Nano S Plus from scratch and maybe put an NFT on it or something. Or if you guys have any other general questions about the Ledger Nano S or about hardware wallets in general, leave those down in the comments. I do still respond to all the comments. And then come back here every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern for a new video. I love you all. Goodbye. But luckily, this problem, like many of life's other age-old problems, can be solved by a hammer and bullet sheet proofs of